Oh, I have no doubt it'll meet your lofty expectations, so shall we go? Yeah, she was a boy after all. So, before I even knew what was happening, the class trial had been put on hold. We headed off with Kyoko in the lead, and where she took us was... Aha! The girls' locker room? We've all searched this place top to bottom. What are you trying to pull, Missy? I'd like you to examine the victim's body one more time. You want to check it again? Be sure to examine the entire body very carefully. Take your time. Examine her carefully, like using our hands? No way, no way, no way, no way, no way! It's probably best if I don't run my hands all over a girl's dead body. It's not that I'm creeped out or anything, but it's just based on religious grounds, you know? Very well, I'll do it. But you're a girl, you shouldn't have to touch a dead body. Just let one of the boys do it. No, it's okay. I think Chihiro would rather have a girl examine her. So just leave this to me. Sakura... What is this? Some kind of secret girl-on-girl action? Is that what you two are about? That's not it at all. Stop screwing around. Okay, here I go. I'm sorry, Chihiro. Please excuse the intrusion. Putting her hands together in a brief prayer, Sakura then began to quietly examine her body. Be sure to check her entire body, and I believe we will solve this particular mystery. I have already solved it, dude. Just ask me. Her entire body. I know you say that, but... What does this mean? Ah! What is it? Not possible. It's not possible. Sakura's eyes were staring wildly at Chihiro's lifeless form. Her massive frame trembled. This girl is... Is what? Is a boy. I see, so she was actually a he. Interesting, thank you for confirming this fact. What? You're joking, right? I wouldn't joke about this. Then it's really true. Chihiro was a guy. Huh? Oh what, you guys didn't know? Heck, I knew that right off the bat. Chihiro Fujisaki was totally a guy. Then he was a crossdresser? I'm really on fire, I wish I had killed him. So that's what Kyoko wanted to show everyone, huh? Interesting. Pooh hoo hoo. Yes, that certainly does make things much more exciting. Now let's ride this wave of excitement back to the courtroom and get back to the trial. I do apologize for keeping you waiting. Now then, let's resume the class trial. We've all just learned of the shocking revelation that Chihiro was actually a boy. Let's pick up from there. Well then, I don't know his reason for hiding it, but the fact is, Chihiro was not a girl, but a boy. To think that Chihiro was actually a guy, the thought had never even crossed my mind. And because the victim was male, he would have had no problem gaining access to the boys' locker room. Oh wait, so the thing I said before, using Chihiro's handbook to open the girls' locker room, that's totally wrong. So Byakuya probably used one of the Sakuras or Junkos. Assuming his handbook did in fact list his gender as male, then yes, that would be true. Of course, his handbook said he was a boy. He dressed like a girl, but he was a boy through and through. So then, there should be no issue with Makoto's initial assertion. The victim was killed in the boys' locker room and was then later moved to the girls' locker room. And the killer could have easily used Sayaka or Junko's handbook to get into the girls' locker room. So Chihiro really was killed in the boys' locker room. I still don't understand the motive for moving the body, but yes, that does seem plausible. Well, I must admit, I did find it rather odd. I knew he felt a little off. There was a certain incongruity to his female body. This is the most titillating situation. So now everything has been connected. All the mysteries have finally become clear. Okay, well, connected or clear or whatever, we still think you're the killer, remember? Very interesting. This has become very interesting indeed. Ah, he's off in his own little world. What about you, Makoto? After everything we've learned, do you still think Byakuya is the killer? Well, without a doubt, Byakuya is the one that made Chihiro's death look like genocide. Jack did it. But I think he might... Really? I think he might not actually be the killer after all. Really? That's very interesting indeed. What? But aren't you the one who accused him in the first place? I mean, there was the fact that Chihiro probably went with someone to the gym in the first place, and she definitely would not have asked Byakuya. Maybe Mondo. I think Mombo would be the only one Chihiro would ask. What? But aren't you the one who accused him in the first place? He just seems to be too easygoing about all this, like he's enjoying us solving the mystery. The way he's acting. Oh, maybe because Mondo found out he was a boy, and that pissed him off because he made his promise to him as a girl? The way he's acting, it makes it seem like it doesn't have anything to do with him. And you think that might be because it doesn't have anything to do with him? Plus, the evidence he left behind was a little too, how can I put it, overt. It is too obvious, really. He consciously chose to use the extension cords, knowing it would connect him to the murder. At least that's how I see it. And Byakuya, when you found out the murder took place in the boys' locker room, it seemed to rattle you. And then again, when you found out Chihiro was actually a guy. If you really were the killer, that stuff wouldn't have had any effect on you. So, that you're thinking, huh? Well, it bothers me that you don't have any more concrete reasons, but it's fine. I guess I'll mark it as correct for the time being. Mark it as correct? He's right, I am not the culprit. I just happened to come across the corpse in the girls' locker room and decided to alter it. Are you fucking with us right now? No, I'm not. Effing with you right now. I'm telling you the truth. Well, I find it very hard to believe. Go ahead, find it very hard to believe. You're free to be executed along with the rest of us. If you're really telling the truth, then why'd you do that to his body? My reasons hardly matter right now. Uncovering the culprit is much more important, wouldn't you say? Now then, if it wasn't me, who was it? Well, I don't think I can say for sure without talking about it a little more. We're seriously gonna keep going? We're all good, aren't we? I thought it was clear Byakuya did it. No, I'm with Makoto. If there's any doubt whatsoever, we need to explore every possibility. Because if we're wrong, we all die here. Interesting. I went with Byakuya since he was the obvious one, and last time it was the obvious one, and I thought it wasn't Leon, but apparently it was. So this time they decided to go the other way around. That's true, very well then, I'm with you too. Damn straight, count me in, man. Do you not have a mind of your own? Of course I do, what am I, an ant or something? Anyway, let's discuss this all as a group one more time. We still have time to make our decision. That's very true. Our lives are all on the line. Excellent, then shall we resume our game of hide and seek? But if Byakuya didn't do it, then who's the real killer who murdered Chihiro? There's one thing we can be sure that we know about the killer. The killer is a guy. Since the crime scene was the boys' locker room, you would need a boy's handbook to get in. Since Leon's handbook is apparently broken, the killer would have had to use their own. In other words, it had to have been a guy. But that's still not enough. I need to find some more clues. Okay, let's see. We have the lamp, disappearing stain, Celeste, probably Celeste's accounts. We've used the other ones. Isn't there a single clue that might lead us to who did it? Well, clues are one thing, but did nobody get a look at the killer? Sure, if someone saw the killer, they would have said something by now. Perhaps someone saw the victim at some point. Even that might be enough for now. Yeah, all we need right now is any kind of new info. Ah, I missed. It's over, it's all over. You wanna know who saw the victim? The killer and only the killer. And it's not like they're just gonna turn themselves in. Game over, man, game over. Yeah, no, not game over. Not only do we have no info on the killer, but nobody even saw the victim before he died. No, Celeste saw her. Which one do I contradict? New info? No, probably the one where only the killer saw the victim. Objection! I believe someone else did see the victim before he was murdered. What do you think, Celeste? Now that you mention it, yes, I did see him. Huh? Really? Oh, but I suppose only Makoto knows about this. The rest of you had no idea, did you? That is why you're all making such ugly noises. Whatever, just hurry up and tell us. It was last night. Right before nighttime, I saw Chihiro in the dormitory warehouse. I saw him stuffing a track jacket into a duffel bag. And then I assume he headed off to exercise. A track jacket and a duffel bag, but we didn't find anything like that at the murder scene. It seems likely that the culprit destroyed them to get rid of any evidence. And that's when he said something that struck me as rather odd. Well, I'd better get going, I'm kind of in a hurry. Chihiro told me he was in a hurry. But why would he be in a hurry? Only if someone were waiting for him, I should think. So, Mr. Fujisaki was on his way to meet with someone, and then they were going to work out together? But Hina and I had invited him to exercise with us plenty of times, and he always declined. Probably because he was afraid you'd find out the secret he was hiding, right? Which means that conversely, he must have trusted whoever he was meeting with very much. It was Mondo. The bastards. Enough so that he was willing to risk his secret being revealed. Ah, well, what a marvelous friendship. The point is, whoever he met up with is the culprit, right? So we just gotta figure out who it was. But knowing what we know, I can't even guess. Oh, I can guess. No, you already have what you need to make the connection. Huh? You know who the killer is. Seriously? Who is it? Who's the killer? Think back to the track jacket and duffel bag the killer disposed of. Focus on the details of these items and it should become obvious who was waiting for him. Are you sure about that? You really think we can figure out who did it based on 2 pieces of evidence that we don't even have? What, you want to track down some fingerprints or something? Even if we had the equipment for that, we wouldn't know how to use it. As was noted, the evidence is already gone. There's nothing to get fingerprints from. Or maybe it was Taka. I mean, would Mondo really... Was Chihiro getting a tracksuit for both of them or something? I don't see Mondo using a tracksuit while working out. Maybe, but we can make certain inferences if we just take the time to talk it out. Easy for you to say. But fine, Celeste, did you notice anything special about the bag or jacket? The bag was just a normal duffel bag from the warehouse. All the bags in there are the same, so I can't imagine what would make that one special. Well, if I remember right, there was a decent variety of tracksuits to choose from. Do you think there might be some connection between the culprit and Chihiro's jackets? Perhaps. Let's explore that and talk a bit more about the jacket he took. Does Chihiro's jacket really hold some clue about the killer? Somehow it's really hard to believe. We used these before. First of all, we know where Chihiro was headed. He was on his way to go exercise. So next we have to ask, why did he choose the specific tracksuit that he did? What do you mean, the specific tracksuit? I got it. He picked that tracksuit because it matched the one the culprit was wearing. So what you're saying is the killer was wearing this. Oh, hold on. How do we... No. This is stupid. How do you know it's a blue tracksuit, you idiots? My tracksuit is black. I don't even have a tracksuit. Cause exercising sucks. I have a white tracksuit personally. I got it from the warehouse, if you must know. Did any of that really help us get any closer to figuring out who the culprit is? No way, not a chance. How did you know it? You heard him, right? What he said without even realizing it? Oh, I did. I did. The question is, how do I do this? Does this work? No, this does not work. So I think I just matched Celeste's account to the blue? That's the only thing I can think of. Oh yeah. Hold on a second, Mondo. What did you just say? Huh? What'd I say? When Celeste testified a few minutes ago, she said, I saw him stuffing a track jacket into a duffel bag, and then I assumed he headed off to exercise. She never said anything about the jacket's color. So why did you say Chihiro's blue tracksuit? What are you? You just... Hey Celeste, what color was Chihiro's tracksuit? As a matter of fact, it was blue. And before we began the trial, did you tell anyone that? The only one I told about any of this was you. Then, Mondo, how did you know what color Chihiro's tracksuit was? Because I'm sure he saw the clothes at some point in the investigation. No, that can't be it. The bag and clothes were surely disposed of by the time we began our investigation. Then the only person he could have known what color the tracksuit... The only reason he could have known what color the tracksuit was is if he saw Cherry with it before he died. That's the only possibility. Cherry, are you talking about Chihiro? So how about it? Did you see the tracksuit or didn't you? Just by chance, I just happened to see it last night. He walked past me and he was carrying the tracksuit in his hands. No, that can't be it either, according to Celeste's testimony. She stuffed the jacket into her bag in a hurry. It was almost like she was trying to hide it. And just like that, she was gone. When Celeste noticed it, Chihiro made a point of making sure the jacket was completely in the bag. If you just ran into him briefly, you couldn't possibly have seen what color the tracksuit was. Ugh! It would appear you've dug your own grave. Perhaps, but you handed him the shovel, didn't you? That's why you said what you did. Focus on the tracksuit, and it'll be obvious who you met with. What a bunch of nonsense. Ah, now I understand. It was all one big bluff, wasn't it? Your true intention was to draw a slip of the tongue from the culprits. That's why you said you knew who did it, to put them on edge. That's right. However, Mondo was my target all along. I had my suspicions about him from the very beginning. But why? What made you so suspicious? Because that's the only person Chihiro would trust. That's a good question. The way he talked or the way he was acting? There was a certain turning point that tipped me off. Maybe you didn't notice it, Mondo, but you tend to refer to men and women differently. That's right, he called her dudes in the crime scene. I remember that. I thought that was weird, but I don't know, I didn't connect that. Oh, Kyoko is smart. I wish I was playing as Kyoko. You only call guys dudes, for girls is chick. And after he was killed, you happened to refer to him as dudes. Once I picked up on that, it occurred to me that Mondo knew something we didn't. You noticed such a tiny detail. Are you a witch? She's a witch? You're positively frightful? No, I'm not the frightful one. Not nearly as frightful as someone capable of murdering a friend. Ugh! Mondo, was it really you? Did you really kill Chihiro? I didn't kill anyone. You've been all over me, judging everything I say, putting words in my mouth. What gives you the right to treat me like a goddamn criminal? Yeah, he would never do something like that. This is a false accusation. It's true, my reasoning on that is pretty shaky. That was fast. Well, this does present us with a problem. It seems we are all out of leads. Heh, my time has nearly come. That's what my little ghost friend is telling me. Oh yeah, that reminds me, Hifumi, weren't you telling me you'd found some evidence? Really? What kind of evidence? Actually, you know, now that I'm thinking about it here calmly, it might not be all that relevant. Jeez, did your confidence just get up and walk away? It's fine, man, just tell us. If you really insist, then... here it is. What do you have there? It happens to be an e-handbook. I found it laying on the ground, so I scooped it up. You found it on the ground, right? Then it must belong to... Chihiro? It's missing. We know Chihiro's handbook was missing from the scene of the crime, right? For a fact. For a fact indeed. I was totally sure I'd found it. Then it must hold some clue about the culprit, right? Well, that's actually what I was hoping, but it's busted, it won't even turn on. I imagine the culprit broke it to get rid of any evidence after the murder. That's odd. I didn't think the handbooks were quite so fragile. You're right, they're not. They're totally waterproof and shock resistant. It would take an awful lot to break one. And yet, this one does appear to be broken, as is Leon's sitting useless in the main hall. For all your confidence, that is a remarkably high failure rate. Hoo. Do you think there might be some kind of mystery in there somewhere? How precisely did the handbooks get broken? How did the handbook break? There's only one possible explanation hitting its weak points. I don't know what it is though. You already told us before that the handbook has one weak point, didn't you? Oh yeah, you remember that? Sure, maybe I let that slip, but I never told anyone what the weak point actually was. But if the handbook is supposed to never break, and two of them broke in quick succession, then we can only assume that someone's figured out its weakness. You know what the weakness is, right, Monokuma? So, what is it? Huh? You're asking me? I think it's a necessary piece of information if you want this to be a fair trial. But if I tell you and someone else decides to copy it, that would be very not good. Just tell us already, why would we wanna break our own handbooks? Oh well, I have a weakness for pushy demands, but you're sure you won't follow their example? Then allow me to make a special announcement. The weak point of my cutting-edge e-handbook is: when X is exposed to high temperatures for too long, it will suffer a meltdown and totally break. The sauna. Aha! I flipping knew it. You knew it? Yeah, cause I found the handbook laying on the floor of the sauna. The temperature in the sauna can reach over 200 degrees. Strange how you don't get burned, huh? It's because as your sweat evaporates, it creates a cooling layer of air around your skin. If the hot air of the sauna were somehow pushed directly onto your skin, you'd definitely get fried. That layer of air would get blown away. That's why you may feel a burning when you move around. So when you're in a sauna, make sure to keep nice and still. Wow, interesting. I learned one new fact today. That is a mere trifling speck of knowledge. Anyway, if you found the victim's handbook in the sauna, then the killer must have been purposely trying to raise its temperature in order to break it. Meaning the culprit somehow knew its weakness. But how they find out? Monokuma said he didn't tell anyone, right? Then Taka's handbook probably broke as well, huh? Indeed, quite the mystery. What if they found out by accident? What do you mean by accident? What if the killer took their own handbook into the sauna, not knowing its weakness, and it broke? They'd realize it was broken, of course, and it wouldn't be hard to figure out why. And once they had Chihiro's handbook, they knew they had an easy way to dispose of it. I won't say it's not possible, but who would have done something like that? I don't know of anyone who took their handbook into the sauna. No, Taka took his clothes off. I might know someone who did. Whoa, seriously? I think the one who may have taken their handbook into the sauna was... who might have brought their handbook into the sauna. Really, it could only have been one person. You didn't take your clothes off. Taka did. Mondo, your handbook got broken in the sauna, didn't it? Wrong voice. Mondo, your handbook got broken in the sauna, didn't it? What? Why? Why do you keep accusing him? Mondo and Taka had an endurance contest in the sauna not too long ago, remember? And for the contest, Mondo just so happened to keep his school uniform on. But little did he realize, he'd also left his handbook in one of his uniform pockets. And when it was all over, Mondo discovered that taking your handbook into the sauna could easily destroy it. No, wait, hold on, you've got it all wrong. He would never kill. I don't accept this. Show me the proof, the actual solid proof. I mean, I don't want to believe it either, but I found something that proves it beyond a shadow of a doubt. The broken handbook. Let's test Makoto's assertion. If what he says is correct, then Mondo, you broke your own handbook. In other words, if Mondo's handbook is actually broken, then that proves that what Makoto said is right. Well, my goddamn handbook works just fine. Oh, it bounced. See, look. Makoto was wrong after all. Mondo wouldn't hurt a fly. No. Let's try this again. Objection! Mondo, the handbook you have right now, is it really yours? The fuck is that supposed to mean? The broken handbook that was in the main hall. Isn't that one actually yours? What the heck are you talking about? What I mean is, I think Mondo swapped his handbook out for one that actually works. I think he took Leon's handbook and replaced it with his own. After all, Monokuma said himself that Leon's handbook never should have broken. That's right, the punishment it suffered wasn't nearly enough to destroy it. So then the broken handbook in the main hall is actually Mondo's. Which would mean that the handbook Mondo has right now is actually Leon's, yes? But doesn't that violate the school regulation that says loaning out your handbook is prohibited? Well, here's how I look at it. There is a rule about loaning your handbook to another student, but if they're dead, they're not a student. It's kind of a grey area, I admit, but no worries. If anything, it just makes things more interesting. As such, I decree that exchanging handbooks with a corpse is not a violation of the rules. Well, Mondo, if I'm wrong about this, you're welcome to say so. I'm happy to admit I made a mistake, but... Son of a bitch. What's wrong, bro? Come on, tell him he's wrong. You are wrong, you have to be wrong. Everything you just said is wrong, you made it all up. Okay, then why don't we look back on this case one more time from the beginning? That way everything will become clear and we'll all see if I was right or wrong. Oh, is it comic book time? Excellent. Oh, we don't have to do that stupid thing again. Okay, we have 10 minutes. So Chihiro is in the warehouse doing the thing, she's spotted by Celeste. Celeste sees the thing, blah blah blah. Chihiro goes away. She goes to the thing. There's something everyone has that you need to get. Yeah, this one. She needs the handbook. And then what? She went into the boys' locker room. I only see the door. Oh, this is here again. I only see the door for the I only see the door for the girls. Okay, she meets up with Mondo. He picks up the dumbbell, strikes her from behind. Then, let's see. As the murder took place, some blood spattered into the poster. Okay, he killed him, takes out the carpet, switches the posters. Yeah. This is the one for the poster. Which locker room did the killer move to? The girls. The killer took something from the other locker room and switched it at the scene of the crime. Wait, he took something, switched it at the scene of the crime, but didn't I? Oh, this is wrong. This is him picking it up. He took it. and here he placed it. Then he leaves. Byakuya comes in for some reason, and Byakuya brought the cords, the extension cords, tied her, wrote the bloods. That's it. Where did the killer go after they were done? Oh, the sauna to destroy the handbook. And dropped... Wait, what? And the handbook got destroyed. Is this it? Is this thing for the handbook got destroyed? It must be. Reenact. Case closed. First, let's take a look back to before the incident. Last night Celeste saw Chihiro in the warehouse, correct? At the time she was apparently stuffing something into a duffel bag. That something was a blue tracksuit. You can confirm this, right, Celeste? With bag in hand, Chihiro headed out, even though it was officially night time. She made her way to the locker room, specifically the boys' locker room. But how could the victim, who was apparently a girl, access the boys' locker room? What? What is this? Did I get this wrong? Oh, is this here? Ah, I see! This is her going into the boys' locker room. That makes more sense. Okay, headed out. Okay, now it's right. Simple, because she was really a he, which is why he was able to use his own he handbook to gain entrance to the boys' locker room. Once inside, he met with someone there, and the person he met was the one who killed him. It seems likely that the killer grabbed the nearby dumbbell, approached the unsuspecting Chihiro, and attacked him. And that's where the bloodstains on the poster and carpeting in the boys' locker room came from. It was like in the heat of the moment. The body was arranged, but the murder itself felt unplanned. Which is why the killer hurried to try and hide the act, first pulling up the blood-stained carpet, then removing the bloody poster. And finally carrying the corpse into the girls' locker room. A girl's handbook was necessary to get into the locker room, of course. But this alone doesn't prove that the killer was necessarily a girl. After all, Sayaka and Junko's handbooks had been placed in the main hall. Using one of those, a boy could get into the girls' locker room without much problem. And that's exactly how the killer did it. With the carpet and the poster they'd brought with them, they got to work. They changed the layout of the boys' and girls' locker room in what you might call a crime scene switch. That could have been the end of things, but no, yeah, Byakuya, way to ruin it. Way to bring suspicion upon yourself, you damn idiots. Byakuya discovered the body and decided to intervene in the situation, making things even more complicated. So after stumbling on the crime scene, he went and grabbed the extension cord from the library, and then he got to work. He used the cord to string up Chihiro's lifeless body. Then, using the victim's own blood, he left a grisly message there at the scene of the crime. He wanted to create the illusion that Genocide Jack was responsible for the slaughter. And around the same time that Byakuya was putting together this facade, the killer, having already disposed of Chihiro's bag and other belongings, arrived at the sauna. There they planned to destroy the last piece of evidence, Chihiro's handbook. And just as the killer expected, the steamy sauna was enough to ruin the electronic gadget. Somehow the killer knew that the handbook couldn't stand up to the heat of the sauna. And the reason they knew that is because the sauna had already wrecked their own handbook. And that's how it all played out. Isn't that right, Mondo Owada?
Danganronpa.